بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب يسر ولا تؤسر وتمم بالخير. So let's begin inshallah lesson number 23 today. Okay, so if anyone had the chance to go through the handouts, what do we have? What's the first point about? I'm sure, Yani, this is something that you already know.
Ending
Even if
sound,
you,
sir.
what is it?
Masculine plural.
Okay, masculine
Ending sound,
plural.
sir.
Okay.
Okay. With respect to
The declension of the noun, or as we have learned, like the nouns will be flexible and partially flexible. And you remember that for the dual, the sounds, we recognize the dual and the plural of Jam' Salim, the Jam'a that comes on the pattern of Ani and then on the pattern of Una. We will remember them based on the sounds. So for the dual, it is Ani, for example, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini. And for the feminine, it will be Muslimatani, Muslimataini, Muslimataini. We have learned that in lesson number 21, I guess, 20 or 21. And today we have the plural of the masculine, which is the sound of Una. Una and Ina, Ina. You remember that, like long back we have been talking about this. So the sound of Una, Ina, Ina, when we hear this sound, that means this is the plural for the masculine of the nouns. Okay, but how would I differentiate when I hear the sound of Una? How would I know that whether it's a verb or a noun?
So the verb will start with ta or yeah.
Or yeah, excellent. So the verb will always
Alamat
start with
al-mudari, sir.
alamat al-mudari, which is either it will be ya'lamuna or ta'lamuna, yeah? So it will be two of them. So whenever you have, and when you have the ina sound, it will be ta'lamina, right? So it will start with also ta as well for the singular feminine. So when we have una and ina sound with the verb, that means it will always start with alamat al-mudari, which is either ta or ya and ta. Whereas for the nouns, they will not start with ta and ya. So they will start with most of them. It's like not a rule of thumb, but most of them start with mu, with meme. Most of the nouns in Arabic language, almost 95% of the nouns, they start with meme. Either it will be al-fa'il, the doer, or maf'ul. It may be the first form of the verb or the second or the third. Similarly, the adverb of place, adverb of time, ism al-ala. If you notice, all of them start with meme. Most of them, like maf'al, mif'al, and then we have like muslimuna, muslimani. And as I said, like not always that, like they will start with meme, but most of them start with meme. Okay, so today we are learning about the plural form of the masculine, which is una sound. Okay, muslimuna. So it's basically aslama yuslimu, and you remember that Muslim is the one who does something, right? So I mean, Muslim is the doer. So the plural will be Muslimun, the dual will be Muslimani, and the plural will be Muslimuna. Similarly, Muhandisun and Muhandisani and Muhandisuna. Mudarrisun, Mudarrisani and Mudarrisuna. And Fallahun, the farmer, and Fallahani, two farmers, and Fallahuna, that means many farmers. Okay. Now, how do we know the i'rab? How do we know if it is marfu or mansub or majroor? So, kharaj al-mudarrisuna, the grammarians, they say that wow is basically the sign of marfu. That wow means that the noun is marfu for the masculine plural. So, una, wow basically represents the plural for the verb, for the noun, sorry. So we say kharaj al-mudarrisuna, the teachers went out. So the doer is what? The doer is, the sign of the doer will be wow. Okay, first let's talk about the sign of the regular verb. Like, what is the sign of marfu' and what is the sign of mansub and what is the sign of majroor when we talk about the noun? We are talking about the symbols, the i'rab. We are not talking about the the letters. We are talking about the vowels. So what are the vowels that tell us that the noun is marfu or mansub or majroor?
Dhamma for marfu.
Dhamma for marfu,
Kasra for majroor.
kasra for majroor, and fatha
Fatha
for
for
mansub.
mansub.
So we say al-mudarrisu will be marfu, and al-mudarrisa will be mansub, and al-mudarrisi will be majroor. So those are the signs bil haraka, as we say, and these are the signs bil harf. So there are three weak letters in Arabic language, or we call them huruf al-mad: alif, waw, and ya. So alif is basically the sign of marfu for dual. Do you remember? Alif is the
Yes.
sign of dual for the dual. For example, ja'a muslimani. Ja'a muslimani. Ani, alif is the doer. Ja'at muslimatani. Alif is the doer. And here we have una, where we will say that waw is basically the sign, the harf that we are using for dual is waw. So we recognize marfu, mansub, and majroor in two ways. Number one, we recognize with the vowel, or we recognize bil haraka, and the second we recognize using the harf, which is alif, the letters alif, waw, or ya. So kharaj al mudarrisuna. Now, can you please tell me why it is mudarrisuna? Why not mudarrisina?
Because the first one, sir,
Because
Faraja.
Mhm.
Faraja is first and fourth.
The first
They always
form of the
have
verb,
similar
for
form.
example, kharaja and kharajat. So after that, if the noun is zahir, if the noun is apparent, if we can see the noun, the doer is apparent, the doer is a noun itself. So then it will be, most of the times it will be the doer itself. So kharaja is fi'l lazim, and it does not need an object, it only needs the subject. So kharaja, he left. But when we say kharaja al-mudarrisuna, then it means the teachers left. What if we have two teachers? What will I say?
Kharaj al-mudarrisan.
Kharaj al-mudarrisani. And if there is one teacher, what will we say?
Kharaj al-mudarrisu.
Kharaj al-mudarrisu. Excellent. And that's in the second one here we can see ra'aytu, and then we connect it ra'aytu al-mudarrisina. I saw the teachers. Now we have the ina sound. Now you should know now, and now we will figure out why we have to use the ina sound. So is it for someone possible to reflect or tell me like why it is ina?
So because Zair and Wow cannot come together if we are putting Zair on scene, like
Yeah, kasra and ya
kasra
will,
on scene.
yeah, and kasra and ya will always come together. That's the rule that is like applicable to the phonology, like how to read it. But like the rule of the Arab, why the first one is una and the second one is ina?
Sir, Ra'aytu is not from 1 and 4, sir. So we will have a nasab after Ra'aytu.
Okay, even if you look here in the English part, it is I is the subject, saw is the verb,
Sa is
and the
fail.
teacher is the object, right? Subject, verb,
Object.
and the object. Similarly, when we say ra'aytu, I saw, that means the verb and the doer are inside here. So if we have the verb and the doer, what is left after that? What is left after that is maf'ul bihi. And we know that maf'ul bihi is always mansub. We know that, right? So after the first form, it will be una, because the doer is una. The doer is the teachers are the doer, so the doer are marfu. But in the second sentence, the teachers are not the doer. They are the ones who are the receiver of the action. Why they are the receiver of the action? Because you say ra'aytu, and we have already discussed that when we say ra'aytu, it consists of the verb and the fa'il. Both of them are inbuilt. So when you say ra'aytu, I saw, then after that we have to bring in maf'ul bihi, and maf'ul bihi will be always on the sound of ina. Ina. So ra'aytul mudarrisina, I saw the teachers. And similarly, ilal mudarrisina, we know ila is harf jar, And after harf jar, the noun will be always majroor. So that's why when we say dhahabtu ilal mudarrisina, I went to the teachers. Here it is mudarrisina, it is majroor because of ila. So now we know that una is the sound of the doer, whereas ina is the sound of the receiver of the action, or it is the sound of the majroor. So when we say kharaj al mudarrisuna, the teachers are the doer. But when we say, as you can see here, the teachers, this is the subject, as you see in English, and when went out is the verb. So the teachers went out, and at the same time, they are the doers as well. So there is no need to bring in the object here. But when we see here, ra'aytu, as you can see here in English, I saw. So I is the subject, saw is the verb, and the teachers is the object. Similarly, dhahabtu, I went, and ila is harf jar, and we know that after harf jar, the noun will always be majroor. So that's why we have dhahabtu ila al-mudarrisina. I went to the teachers. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kharaj al-mudarrisuna, the teachers here are the doer. But when you say ra'aytu al-mudarrisina, the teachers are the receiver of the action. They are maf'ul bihi, or they are object. And when we say dhahabtu ila al-mudarrisina, so we know here that here the teachers, or the word al-mudarrisina here is majroor, and we know that majroor is always, for the singular it will be with kasra, or for the, when we see with the vowel it will be kasra, and when we go with the sound it will be always the sound of ina. Una, ina. All right. So we know that the ending of mansub and majroor, or the sound of the mansub and majroor, will be ina. But how do we know that it is mansub or majroor? From the context, we will see whether it is used as maf'ul bihi or it is used as majroor. So from the context, we will see that al-mudarrisina, maybe it's the receiver of the action, or mudarrisina is jar majroor. So in sentence number 2, what is the position of the teachers, or the word al-mudarrisina? In sentence number 2, the teachers are maf'ul bihi, right? The receiver of the action. Okay, what about in the third sentence? Why it is mudarrisina here?
Because it's followed by harf
Because
jar.
of,
Yeah, it's because of
because
harf
of
jar.
ila, sir.
Because of ila, right? So after harf jar, they will be majroor. So the sound of the mansub and the majroor will be the same, but from the amil, that means the doer behind that, based on the doer, we will see that it is mansub or majroor. So raitu, the amil is I, and ila, here the amil, yani the doer is harf jar. Okay, so ذهب المهندسون إلى مكاتبهم, the engineers went to their offices. رأيت الفلاحين في الحقول, I saw the farmers in the fields. So رأيت, as we can see here, fail file, and الفلاحين is the mansub. So that's why it is on the wazn of, or on the pattern of ina. هذه بيوت المدرسين, these are the houses of the teachers. Now here, why it is mudarrisina?
So it's mudaf ilayh.
Mudaf ilayh, and we know mudaf ilayh is always majroor, right?
Majroor.
It is always majroor. So here it is majroor because of harf jar ila al-mudarrisina, and here it is majroor because of it is mudaf ilayh. So buyutu is mudaf and al-mudarrisina is mudaf ilayh, and it will be always on the wazn of ina when it is the plural for the masculine. Okay, the numbers, we are getting back to the numbers again, long back. So we need to go back and see the numbers as well. In case you haven't gone through, please go through the previous lessons so you can, because the next lesson is all about numbers. Okay, the numbers like tis'una, from ishruna ila tis'una. So I should not say ila tis'una, I should say ila tis'ina, because ila is harf jar. So una, so you see here, una has the sound of, number 20 has the sound of una. Okay, 30, thalathuna, right? 40, arba'una.
Arba'un.
Up to 90, it will be tis'una. So because they have the una sound, that means they will definitely have the ina sound as well. So when will they have ina sound? When they are either they are mansub or they are followed by harf jar. So it will be ishruna, ishrina, ishrina, and tis'una, tis'ina, tis'ina. Because we are talking about the plurals, that's why the plural numbers have been added to this lesson as well by the Sheikh. So the numbers are called al-uqud, the decades, aqd, and the plural is uqud. So like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So all the numbers when we reach up to 20, it will be ishruna, 30 will be thalathuna, and up to 90 it will be tis'una. What about 100?
Will be
Mi'a.
considered wahid, sir. Mia.
Miyatun, yeah? Okay,
Yes, sir.
excellent. Okay, so do you remember like ma'dud for the numbers from 20 to 29, the one that is being counted? Do you remember the i'rab of the one that will be counted?
Sir, first and second is Mawsuf Sifa. From 3 to
21
9
and
will be
22,
Mudaf
yeah,
Mudaf.
23 to
Mudaf
29. Okay, so what will be the i'rab of 23 to 29 of the ma'dud, the one that is being counted? 23
Mudaf
to
Mudaf
20
alayh.
now, la, 23 to, that mudaf alayh is only from 3 to 10.
3 to 9.
3 to 10, okay? And then we have the numbers from 13 to 19. 13 to 19, they are always mabni al-fath. 19, 15, 16, right? And then we go to the numbers from 23 to 29. So the numbers are opposite, as we know. Other than ma'dud will be opposite in gender. Always they will be opposite in gender. Whether it is from 3 to 9 or it is from 13 to 19 or it is from 23 to 29. However, the tamiz here now, as we can see here, or the ma'dud, from ma'dud starting from 13 up to 99, it will be singular and it will be mansoob. So 13, 14, 15, 23, 24, 25, 33, 34, 35. The ma'dud, the one that is being counted, will be always singular and it will be always mansoob. As we can see here, fil fasli, ishruna, taliban. There are 20 students in the class. Taliban. So when we say 13 students, we say 13 taliban. Similarly, when we say 23 students, we will say, as we can see here, or if we want to say 20 students, we will say fil fasli ishruna taliban. So taliban is what? This is ma'dud, the one that is being counted. So ma'dud will always be singular and it will be always mansoob. Okay, I read 20 books. Qara'tu 20 kitaban. Kitaban is ma'dud, the one that is being counted. And ma'dud will be always singular and mansoob starting from number 13 up to number 99. But why do we have here ishrina? Why not ishruna?
Because of Qira'atu, sir.
Qara'tu is fail plus file. So after that, ishrina
Place
is
for
maf'ul
file.
bihi, right? So it's in the place of, or it is maf'ul
sir.
bihi. So that's why it is ishrina. But why in the first one we have fil fasli ishruna taliban?
Because it's late.
Sure.
Mubtada.
One
I mean-
example, fi qulubihim maradun. You remember that example? So jar
Yes, sir.
majroor,
Yes, sir,
jar
sir.
majroor will never ever be the subject. It can come in the place of the subject, but it will not be the subject. The subject here is muakhar. Ishruna taliban is the mubtada, and fil fasli is khabar. But fil fasli is jar majroor, and most of the times jar majroor comes in the beginning of the sentence. So fil fasli is khabar and ishruna taliban is mubtada, and we know that mubtada is always marfu'. So it will be like this: ishruna fil fasli taliban. But it doesn't make sense. So like it doesn't like fit to say ishruna fil fasli taliban. But if we say fil fasli ishruna taliban, it makes sense and it sounds good. So that's why fil fasli is khabar and ishruna taliban is mubtada. It's the same, for example, you say indi kitabun. Indi kitabun, I have a book, right? So it's the same here. Fil fasli ishruna taliban. There are 20 students in the class. قرأت 20 كتابا. So you have said now by yourself that 20 is here مفعول به, so that's why it is on the pattern of إنا instead of أونا. اشتريته ب20 ريالا. I bought it for 20 riyals. Here why it is إنا?
Because of B.
Because of حرف جر B, and we know that after حرف جر we will always have a noun on the pattern of إنا, so it will be ب20 ريالا. اشتريته ب20 ريالا. I bought it for 20 riyals. It can be a pen, it can be a book. Who refers to the thing that you bought? Okay, so we have learned the numbers from 21 to 30 with the masculine ma'dud. So with the masculine we have already learned. And now we learn with the same numbers with the feminine ma'dud. So we will learn it with the feminine ma'dud. So we have learned with already from 21 to 30 in one of the previous lessons for the masculine. And now inshallah in this lesson we will talk about the feminine. So the first part of the number with the masculine ma'dud is wahidun, and the feminine is ihda. Wahidun and ihda. Wahidun is used for masculine and ihda is used for the feminine. Okay.
Feminine.
Okay, so we say wahidun wa ishruna taliban and ihda wa ishruna talibatan. 21 masculine students and 21 feminine students. Now, Irfan, can you please tell me why we have here taliban and why not talibuna? Or anyone else?
Where, sir, please?
Wahidun wa
The
ishruna
madud will be
taliban. Why do I say taliban?
the
It's
madud will
21.
be singular and mansub.
The ma'dud will
Mansoob,
be
sir.
singular and mansoob. Starting from which
Mansoob.
number?
13.
13, from 13, 1, 3, 13 up to 99.
99.
Okay, so it will be
99.
wahidun wa ishruna taliban. And then if we have 2, it will be ithnani wa ishruna taliban. And for the feminine, we know that it is ithnatani wa ishruna taliban. And please remember that hamza of ithnani wa ithnatani is hamzatul wasl. So when we connect it, we will not read it. Wahidun wa ishruna taliban, 21 male students or masculine students, and ihda wa ishruna talibatan, 21 feminine students. Similarly, when we say ithnani wa ishruna taliban, that means 22 masculine students and ithnatani wa ishruna talibatan, 22 feminine students. Okay, now we move on to 23, from 23 to 29. So if you remember, I told you, or we discussed earlier, that the numbers from 23 to 29, adad and ma'dud will be opposite in gender. Again, ma'dud and adad will be opposite in gender. So if we have taliban, then we will have ta marbuta in the beginning, so we will say thalathatun wa ishruna taliban. But if we have the ma'dud is the feminine, then it will be thalathun wa ishruna talibatan. So one of the ways, like how I remember it, if the basic noun has ta marbuta, then it wouldn't have ta marbuta in the beginning. And if the basic noun doesn't have ta marbuta, then it will have ta marbuta in the beginning. For example, we say taliban doesn't have ta marbuta, so we say thalathatun wa ishruna taliban. However, we know that it is opposite in gender. Taliban is masculine, but thalathatun is the number that we use for the feminine. So ma'dud and adad will be opposite in gender. And here we can see thalathun wa ishruna talibatan, because talibatan basically has ta marbuta, and it will be opposite in gender. So we say thalathun wa ishruna talibatan, 23 students, feminine students. What if I want to say 25 masculine students? 25 masculine students. خمسة وعشرون طالبا. And if we have 25 feminine students, طالبة خمس
Khamsun wa ishruna
ta marbuta
talibatan.
disappears because the original noun has ta marbuta. So the ta marbuta disappears in the beginning. So we say khamsun wa ishruna talibatan. All right. So the uqud have the same form with the masculine as well as the feminine ma'dud. So note here, la akaltu wa la sharibtu. We have also discussed in the previous lesson. I neither ate nor drank. So when you want to say you didn't do this, either this or that, nor that, neither this nor that. So we use la and la. La akaltu wa la sharibtu. I neither ate nor drank. فلا صدق ولا صلى ولكن كذب وتولى. Yes, حفظ القرآن. You remember this verse? Okay. لا
Again, sir.
قرأ. Huh?
Again, sir, which ayah
فلا
you recite?
صدق ولا صلى ولكن كذب وتولى. سورة القيامة.
Sadaqa or saddaka, sir?
فلا. Okay, so فلا صدق ولا صلى ولكن كذب وتولى ثم ذهب إلى أهله يتمطى. Okay, so this is which surah is this? Yeah, he did not give in the charity فلا صدق ولا صلى and he didn't pray. Okay, Surah Al-Qiyamah. So he did not give
second ruku of Surah Al-Qiyamah.
Yeah, he neither give the charity nor does he pray. Okay, la qara wa la kataba. He neither read nor not wrote. Yes, Sister Sumaya.
Ustad, can you please explain point number D, C and D once again?
Okay, C is about the numbers from 23 to 29. So when we talk about the numbers from 23 to 29, the number and the adad, number is called adad, and the one that is being counted is called madud. Yani the number and the one that is being counted, they will be always opposite in gender. The number and the adad and the madud, the number and the one that is being counted, they will be always in opposite in gender. So if you want to say 23 masculine students, we know that masculine students is talib, one student, we say talib, right? So when we want to say 23 students or masculine students, so the number that we bring in will be, we will use for the feminine. So we will say thalathatun wa ishruna taliban. Because talib is masculine, so the number that comes in the beginning will be feminine. Similarly, if you want to say 24 masculine students, you will say arba'atun wa ishruna taliban. 25 khamsatun wa ishruna taliban, sorry. And then 26 sittatun wa ishruna taliban. So like this up to 29. And when the ma'dud is feminine, as we can see here talibatan, then the number will be masculine. So basically the number adad and the one that is being counted ma'dud will be opposite in gender. Talibatan is feminine, so that's why we will say thalathun wa ishruna talibatan. Arba'un wa ishruna talibatan. Khamsun wa ishruna talibatan. So what happens for the feminine, ta marbuta will disappear in the beginning. So instead of saying thalathatun wa ishruna talibatan, we will say thalathun wa ishruna talibatan. Why we will say thalathun wa ishruna talibatan? Because talibatan is feminine, and that's why it will be opposite in gender. Is this clear?
Yes, Ustad, understood.
Okay, and the uqud are easier. For example, when you say whether you have the masculine students or the feminine students, you will say for the masculine, you will say ishruna taliban, thalathuna taliban, arba'una taliban, khamsuna taliban. Even if you have the feminine students, you will still use ishruna, but you will say ishruna talibatan, thalathuna talibatan, arba'una talibatan. So the uqud that is from 20 to 90 will be used, the similar number will be used for the masculine and for the feminine, it will not change. So when you say 20 masculine students, you will say ishruna taliban. And when you want to say 20 feminine students, what will you say? Ishruna
Shruna
talibatan.
Talibatan.
Okay, so whether you have the number is masculine or for the feminine, for the decades,
Okay.
decades mean from 20 to 90, we will not change the adad. The adad will remain the same. Madud can be masculine, can be feminine, no problem. But the number will remain always on the pattern of una, ina, ina.
Oh, okay. Jazakallah, sir. Clear.
Yeah, okay. Okay, number 5, we have here note al-muwatta lil Imam Malikin. So here li means by. Lisan al-Arabi libni mandurin. Lisan al-Arab by Ibn Mandur. So in such examples, li is used to refer to the author of the book and is translated by the word by. So li, we have learned that li is used, la majara is used for milkiya, for possession, or litamlik, li Zaydin, li Muhammadin, right? For Zayd, for Muhammad, lillahi, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, but here, when we say li, here it means by the author. So when we refer to the author of the book, then it will be translated as by. So inshallah, when we go through the text of the lesson, we will be able to, like figure out or relate like why and how it has been translated as by. So as of now, we have to see here that li can be also translated as by. Okay. Ijtima'un, meeting. This is the 8th form of the verb. So we haven't reached the 8th one. So inshallah, when we reach, then we will figure out that it is ijtama'a, yajtami'u, ijtima'an. And then we have qissatun, story, and the plural is qissasun. The plural is qisasun, fi'lun, on the plural of pattern of fi'lun. Then we have nabiyun, prophet, and it has 2 plurals, anbiya'u and nabiyuna, right? Una, so it has also on the pattern of una as well, nabiyun, nabiyuna, and also it is anbiya'u. Qa'atun, which is used for the hall. Ja'izatun, prize, and the plural is jawaizu. Jawaizu doesn't have tanween. Why is that?
Mafailu.
It's on the pattern
On the
of
version of
mafailu.
Mafailu, sir.
Mafailu is called muntah al-jumur. Yani after that we cannot make plural, so that's why it is jawaizu without tanween, and it is partially flexible. That's why it does not accept tanween. Najaha yanjahu, najahan, to pass an exam. Rasaba yarsubu rusuban, to fail an exam. Usratun, for the family, and the plural is usarun, on the pattern of fu'alun. And thaniyatun, second unit of time, and the plural is thawanin. And here athawani, so this is ism al-manqus. Inshallah, when we talk about ism al-manqus, we will see that why it has changed into thawanin. So it's second, and then the plural is thawanin. But when we have al, then the ya comes back. So basically there was ya over here, and when we put al, then the ya comes back. Athawani, seconds. All right, so who is going to read the lesson today?
Sir, can we start tomorrow? New lesson.
Okay, sure, why not? So, Irfan, thank you for giving me
Yes,
the
sir.
opportunity to explain something here. Something,
Okay.
something like useful. Here we have, in this lesson, you have the word ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban, right? We use it a lot. So let's see today, like why we always speak them mansub. You know, ahlan is mansub, right? Ahlan is mansub.
Yes, sir.
Sahlan is mansub, and marhaban is also mansub. Can you figure out like why we always speak it as mansub? Similarly, we say shukran, Shukran is always mansoob. Why is that?
There might be something mahzoof, sir.
There is always something mahdoof. Yes, excellent. So when you say I thank you, basically you want to say ashkuruka shukran. Ashkuruka shukran, I thank you. But there is no need to say ashkuruka. It's mafhum, it's clear, so that's why we say shukran. So shukran is basically maf'ul bihi. And we have learned that maf'ul bihi is always mansoob. It is always mansoob. So now we say ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. So let's try to see the beauty of the Arabic language and the courtesy of the Arabs. Like when they say ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban, what does it mean? Does it simply mean like welcome, or is it something more than welcome? So ahlan, we know a family, one's kin and kith and kin, like the family members, as we say ahlul bayt, right? The members of the family of refers to the in the Quran refers to azwaj mutahharat. So ahlan, family. Sahlun, you remember that, you know the meaning of sahlun, something that is easier, right? So firm and level ground which is not stony or sandy. So the ground that is the place or something that is easier. Marhaban is the masdar of rahuba, and then the masdar is rahban wa marhaban. It has two, so it has masdarain, to be wide or spacious and roomy. So marhaban is basically something or a place that is spacious or that is wide. So then, as we say here, it's in the Quran, وَضَاقَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا رَحُبَتْ. And the earth, vast as it is, was straightened for you, was like made, like daqa is like something that has been confined, like it was made like difficult for you. So وَضَاقَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا رَحُبَتْ. So basically here we are focusing on marhaba, like, so now we know that the word marhaba is masdar, whereas ahlan wa sahlan, these ahlan wa sahlan, these are not masadr. Marhaba is masdar. Okay, now idahatun nahwiya. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban, these words are maf'ulun bihi. So as you figured out, Irfan, these are maf'ulun bihi of the verbs which have been omitted. So something is mahdhuf, and here are the reconstructed sentences. So it's basically atayta ahlan, ata yati. Do you remember this verb? Are you with me, by the way? I don't hear anyone, so maybe. Atayta, do you remember?
We got mahzoof, sir.
Okay, why is that? Atayta, you don't remember the verb atayta? Ata yati. To come.
Atayati, sir.
Okay. Atayta ahlan. Nazalta. Which verb is this? Nazalta.
Nazala.
Nazala yanzilu. Nuzulan. To arrive or to land or to come. وَنَزَلْتَ سَهْلًا وَصَادَفْتَ مَرْحَبًا. صَادَفْتَ, what verb form is this? Alif is extra.
On the wazn of fa'al.
فَعَلَ يُفَاعِلُ مُفَاعَلَةً. صَادَفَ يُصَادِفُ مُصَادَفَةً. Okay. So here is the meaning of each of these three sentences. So atayta ahlan, you have come to your own kith and kin, and you have come to your own family members. You are not a stranger. We are not strangers. Consider us as the members of your own family. So when you say ahlan, basically you're saying atayta ahlan, you have come to your own family members. You are not a stranger. Nazalta sahlan, you need not worry about your return journey. You are on firm ground, which is neither sandy nor stony. So your ride will be comfortable. So nazalta sahlan, that you have landed to a place which is very comfortable for you. Yani, as we say, feel comfortable or feel at ease, right? So when someone comes to you, so you say, be my guest, that means like feel comfortable. There's no need to bother about anything. You will get the pin of the, or the password of the Wi-Fi. Yes. So that's what we need when we go to someone's house, right? So what are the things that we offer to the guest when someone comes to us? The first thing we need to offer is
Salam.
The Wi-Fi password, right? This is the courtesy of these days. When someone comes to you as a guest, the first thing we need to offer is, of course, we say Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam, and then the person sits. So the first thing that he the first thing that he needs or that he should be offered is the password to your Wi-Fi so that he can connect to the internet, right? So
Maybe charging cable also.
maybe charging cable as well. That's right. So Nazalta Sahlan, so you have come to a place which is comfortable for you. So, and Sadafta Marhaban, you have come to a spacious place. So Sadafa is basically, Musadafa is coming to a place. So my tent house has enough room for you to stay here. So Ahlan wa Sahlan wa Marhaban, you may use all these three words together. So this is the beauty of saying Ahlan wa Sahlan wa Marhaban. That means you're telling someone that you have come to your own family members, you have come to a comfortable place, and the place for you is spacious. Our hearts are spacious. You don't need to feel like anything that will make you uncomfortable. Feel comfortable, be my guest, and demand whatever you want to if he is closer to you. So this is how we use the word ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. So Irfan, inshallah, when we say next time these words to someone, now we know that we mean to say atayta ahlan wa nazalta sahlan wa sadafta marhaban.
The next person who will listen say Ameen.
Marhaban bikum, as we see in the Quran as well, and there is also la marhaban bikum as well, right? Welcome to you and no welcome to you. So if you don't want to welcome someone, you will say la marhaban bikum. You are not welcome.
This is right.
All right, so سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. We will meet tomorrow inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.